What a game that ended up being. Ulster get the win, 22 points to 19, right at the death. Absolutely brutal loss for Edinburgh. Phenomenal performance from Madigan to kick two pressure kicks at the end, neither of them particularly easy. It's certainly a game of two halves, this one. I'll go through over some of the key events from the game, some of the match stats, and as always, you guys can let me know your thoughts as well. The first half, you'd have to say, was Edinburgh's half. Even if there was only 5 points scored during the first half, Edinburgh's performance levels just seemed to be a touch higher. Error rate for Ulster was a bit worrying in that first half. Edinburgh won the first. Scrum penalty, Duhan van der Merwe was looking dangerous. He was getting over the advantage line every time he was getting the ball on that left wing for Edinburgh. Edinburgh were trying stuff. They tried a cross kick to Darcy Graham. He's probably not the tallest guy to be taking cross kicks, but they had penalty advantage, and it was the kind of, I guess, just attitude that Edinburgh was showing was that they wanted to go out and boss the game, and they seemed to be getting the better of it in the first half. After that cross kick missed, they went back for a penalty, and they did kick it for touch, and it paid off. They turned down 3. McAnally got the try. On 14 minutes, it was a maul. He kind of peeled off. He just showed the ball, and the defenders were fooled enough to just let him go over for the try. They missed the conversion. So it's 5-0 early for Edinburgh, and like I mentioned, it was probably a pretty good reward for the way they were playing. 20 minutes, Ulster did the same thing. They turned down 3 points. They went for a maul. But they were stopped, and it just looked a bit awkward. It looked a bit disconnected. The guys didn't quite seem to be on the same page. They tried the forwards, they tried the backs. The pass from Cooney was a wee bit loose. They ended up knocking it on. There were too many knock-ons from Ulster, kicking the ball out on the full. The errors in the first half were not the best. Knock-ons in that first half finished 4-1 with Ulster having 4, so it just wasn't quite happening for them. Edinburgh had more possession, 57%, more territory, 56%, more run meters, 171 to 62. Ulster had 62 run meters in the first half, so it was a bit dire. From those 171 run meters from Edinburgh, 98 of them were from Duhan van der Merwe. So he was having a big impact, even if he wasn't in any particular try-scoring opportunities. But all the stats, it's penalties conceded was quite a few. I think it was 10-6 at halftime. Clean breaks 3-0 for Edinburgh in that first half. Tackling percentage, Edinburgh's at 96, Ulster's at 84, making about the same amount each. So yeah, definitely a better first half from Edinburgh, and it looked like it was going to be a pretty low-scoring affair. Maybe 1 or 2 tries would be the difference. And I guess credit to Ulster and that they weren't afraid to make substitutions at halftime. Cooney goes off. Ludic goes off. And you'd have to say the Ulster bench is probably one of the biggest difference makers in this one, because they weren't looking in it at halftime. That being said, the first points in the second half actually go to Edinburgh, even though the fact that Ulster have the better of that second half. It goes down the right wing. It's Van der Vault who beats the first tackler, and just too much space for Graham out wide, and they get the conversion. It's a great conversion, 12-0. At 12-0, after, remember, 5 points being scored in the entire first half, I was thinking 12-0 is probably good enough to win. I can't see Ulster scoring more than 12 points. But I was rather mistaken. 49 minutes, Edinburgh had a big break down the right wing, and it looked like a potential try for all money, but Billy Burns managed to just get between the guy making the line break and the support runner to get an intercept. And it wasn't an intercept where he was coming from his own side. He was running the same way as the players who were making the break. So a good defensive run from him probably saved 7 points. And then, fortunately, 7 points go the other way with Little. He gets the try. Marcel Coetzee put his body on the line, and he had a big one-handed offload in the build-up to this play. McCloskey gets the ball. Little gets the ball. He steps Hamish Watson, absolutely bamboozled him, made him look pretty sick. And, if you've watched my channel for any length of time, I'm a big fan of Hamish Watson. So it was a pretty brutal run from Little. But yeah, it's a great try, and it makes it 12-7. 12-7 is absolutely game on. But Watson must have been pretty mad, especially at Little, because he sets up the next try. There's a bit of a flurry of tries from this point. Watson gets a line break. He beats a half-hearted attempted tackle from Little, who's the man who's just made him look pretty silly not that long ago. And it's a great offload. So Dean gets the try on 57 minutes. It's 19 points to 7. So just as Ulster have got themselves back into the game, Edinburgh hit back. Watson gets his revenge within a few minutes of missing that tackle. They said it's his first missed tackle. Was it all season? So yeah, good effort from the Edinburgh guys to bounce back. But 61 minutes. This is what I mean about this, just going back-to-back tries. Herring gets a try. It's a big, ugly maul. It's a slow maul try, and eventually it goes over. They missed the conversion, so it's 19 points to 12. And then 74 minutes, 75, Andrew gets another try for Ulster. They really were putting on a huge period of pressure. They just had so much of the play in that second half. And a bunch of penalties. Ulster just keep attacking. This maul was particularly slow. Madigan has come on for Burns by this point. The try is scored well out wide. And Madigan's probably his first touch of the game. I'm not sure. But boy, does he kick it from the sideline. Absolutely phenomenal kick. And that's, at that point, 19-0, you're thinking it's definitely going to go at extra time. I actually said, because I was doing a live stream with some of the boys, and probably girls, but yeah, don't give away a penalty in the last few minutes. You'd hate for this game to be finished on a 3. Ulster attacking. Willemse, the reserve hooker, gets a ball that just is too tempting. He sticks his mid out, and it's counted as a deliberate knock-on. Those ones are deliberate knock-ons pretty much all day of the week these days. I know my dad particularly dislikes deliberate knock-on penalties because he thinks it's hard to judge when you're actually going for it and when you're actually trying to bat it down. But based on what we've seen in recent years, those ones get given every day of the week. And sure enough, this one was. The ref initially just called it a knock-on. Then he seemed to get a call in his ear that it's a deliberate knock-on. So it's a penalty. It's not an easy kick. It's probably 40-plus meters out with a bit of angle. It's that man, Madigan, again. Can he get it done? He hits it. He looks at it. He's not turning and celebrating immediately. He looks for it just to have the legs, and sure enough, it's got them pretty easily. 22 points to 19. That is the final play of the game. Talk about coming off the bench to make an absolute difference. Ulster in that second half, despite conceding an early try and then kind of one try after scoring points, which is quite disappointing because you never want to do that. It's a bit of a coach killer. You'd have to say second half was just Ulster's half, man. I mean, look at the stats. The knock-ons finished 6-1 with Ulster having the worst of the hands. But remember, 4 of those were in the first half. So better hands in the second half. Final stats finished 56% possession, 59% territory. Remember, they were down in the first half in those stakes. So if you look at it half by half, in that second half, Ulster had 69% possession and 72% territory. That doesn't mean much if you don't do the work with it, but it actually managed to pay off for them. A couple of more tries. Clean breaks finished 6-3 in Edinburgh's favour. Defenders beaten 18-8 in Edinburgh's favour. But like I said, they just didn't have any ball in that second half. Tackling percentage for Edinburgh finished up 92%, but they couldn't stop those mauls. They had to make 169 tackles, 83% for Ulster, which is not quite as good, but the scoreboard is the one that matters. They had to make 107. So maybe a few tired Edinburgh legs towards the end after all that defending they had to do in that second half. Penalties conceded 13 by Edinburgh, only 8 by Ulster. Also a bit of a difference maker. If you look for individual stats, Duhan van der Merwe finished with 99 run meters, but remember he had 98 in the first half, which is kind of an indication of how starved of the ball Edinburgh were in that second half. Gilchrist made 17 out of 17 tackles. Little for Ulster had 84 run meters, beat 3 defenders. And Geordie Murphy made 13 out of 13 tackles. But it's probably all about Madigan and those 2 kicks at the end of the game. But yeah, First half, I was thinking it's going to be a bit of a dire one. We're not going to see many tries and many points, and the game's just going to probably fizzle out. It's going to be a battle of attrition, but no, the second half was absolutely cracking. We saw tries kind of littered from both sides. It was absolutely kind of ping-ponging from side to side, and some really clutch moments from Madigan at the end to seal it. As I said, pretty brutal for Edinburgh fans after being up 12-0. But great mental fortitude from the Ulster guys to not give up and to come back. And I think good call from the coaching staff to not be afraid to make those substitutions at halftime and throughout the half. So, day is just getting underway here in New Zealand. So I'm going to go and spend some time with the kids in a pretty good mood after, if you're going to get up early in the morning to watch a game, you want it to be that kind of game. But, you guys in the Northern Hemisphere, don't drink too much if you're an Ulster fan or an Edinburgh fan, maybe drowning your sorrows. But it was a good game, and we look forward to an All-Ireland final with Leinster awaiting Ulster. So, you guys let me know your thoughts on the game. Where do you think it all went wrong for Edinburgh? How chuffed are you if you are a Ulster fan? But, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.